Good afternoon, or good morning if you're in Central Time and still joining us. Thank you for being here. Sean Kennedy, SACAC President and Co-Director of College Counseling at Ravenscroft School in Raleigh, North Carolina. Thanks for joining us for a topic of ever-increasing curiosity and interest, AI for school counselors. I'll introduce our presenters in just a minute, but I did want to take a moment to talk a little bit about SACAC's relationship with CGN. A strategic goal of SACAC is to empower our members through professional development and personal growth. So a partnership with CGN gives us the ability to bring members additional high-quality programming and resources that's developed by experts and trusted professionals in our field. From the free webinars like today's to access to CGN platforms like AVA that you'll hear a lot more about today. We hope that SACAC members will leverage the variety of these opportunities to grow as professionals and, of course, in the most important thing, to better serve students, parents, caregivers in their institutions and organizations. So at this time, I will introduce Bob Block, CGN co-founder, and Brennan Barnard, Director of College Counseling and Outreach at Conn Lab School. Bob and Brennan, take it away.
Sean, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And wanted to just first of all, thank everyone for joining and spending a few minutes of your day to learn a little bit more about CGN and kind of how we're using AI to support counselors, students, and their families. Going to give you a few slides, just an overview for those who are not familiar with CGN, going to give you a little kind of a sense of who we are and what we're doing to support schools, and then give you a bit of a demo of our program. Going to be able to make a free offer for any of the counselors on the call to access our tools for free. We're excited about that. And then, of course, Brennan, who's our kind of in-house counselor and also works with the Conn Lab School, is going to talk a little bit about how he experiences CGN and how he uses it to support his students and their families. So let me get started with.
Yes, while you're doing this, it'd be great if folks who are tuning in could just throw in the chat what school you're from and what state. That would be great, or maybe city and state, just so we have a sense.
Thank you, Brennan. Appreciate that. So let me let me pull up my slides first. Here you go. So hopefully everyone can see that. So by the way, the first slide says College Guidance Network, but and that's kind of how we got started 4 years ago. But as I'm sure many of you can reflect, the fact that today, high school students have lots of options, and college is one, but there are a number. And so we are transitioning College Guidance Network to kind of what we call CGN right now, which is C being for college and career. But stay tuned, there may be a new name coming in the next couple of months as we try to reflect the needs of the schools and the counselors that we support. But essentially, we've created this college and career support system, again, designed to help you as a counselor better support your students and engage your parents more effectively. So this is kind of the vision. We believe that every school, every high school, every K-12 home in the country with a high school student, and eventually even a middle school student, because we do have thoughts about creating something for middle school students as well, that everyone should have kind of an expert kind of AI system to support their high school to post-secondary transition. Wanted to show you a little bit about some of the data that we're seeing. So we rolled out our AI tool literally about 2 months ago, back in September. So up until then, we had, really compelling personalized roadmap system. As Sean mentioned, we have free programming, live expert programming that we've been doing literally for about 4 years now. But what's happened since we rolled out AVA, our AI tool, as you can see by the numbers here, parent activation, parent engagement has gone through the roof. And this is essentially, if you think about kind of the core value of the CGN platform, as you think about it and how you might deploy it in your schools, parent engagement is really one of the key benefits of CGN. And, we know as a, parent of a former parent of two high school kids that are now in college, it's a very anxious time for parents. And so CGN really is designed to get help those parents lower the temperature and give them the information and resources they need in order for them and their students to make good informed decisions. The other kind of part of the recent data that I wanted to share is just a reflection of a focus group that we had recently with some parents. This is a parent in Illinois, one of the schools that we are working with. It's actually a school district called Valley View Illinois Schools. It's actually about 60% free and reduced lunch. And these are some of the quotes from the parent in that focus group. And in the last few months, we've been able to engage over 20%, almost 25% of the parents in those schools by getting up on the system and beginning to use the CGN platform. So what is the platform? For those who are not kind of familiar with it, I should leave you another quote from a counseling director of college counseling in California. Again, really good feedback, very, very positive feedback. A lot of this happening literally in the last couple of months. The way we operate, and Sean referenced this as well, we're all about expert guidance, and that is we go out. In fact, Brennan is extremely helpful in helping us identify the experts in all these different domains across the country. And we bring them on our platform. We interview them in our live programming, and then those live events become short 3, 4, 5-minute videos that populate our database. So as you can see, we have over 300 experts right now in the content resources that we offer, over 110 different topics, college, career, and increasingly content in programming around what we call family dynamics and, kind of parenting, if you will. But basically how parents, especially working with high school kids, can be more constructive in this process to help that student, again, make really good informed decisions. Part of the value of what we have tried to do here is create kind of this notion of democratizing expertise. Our view as a company is that every family should have access to the highest quality experts. And so by bringing in people, many of them who I'm sure through your work and may obviously even be SACAC members, that these are the folks in the industry that you want to turn to for really good advice and counsel. So this is, before I show you the demo, this is kind of what it's built on. It's not just AI, right? So there are a number of players, a number of companies out there that are providing kind of what we call AI tools. We think AI is necessary but not sufficient. So AI is only one part of a broader solution that we offer schools that's all built on this kind of expert intellectual property that we have with all the experts that are providing the resources and the guidance in our platform. But that basically kind of takes a few different shapes. Obviously, it powers our trusted AI counseling assistant, but it also comes as a result of this year-round live programming. Last year, we did about 50 events just for families. These are parents and students. We also do a monthly event that you might be aware of with NACAC. It's called Counselor Bites, and it's a monthly event that Brennan hosts many of those events. And that's really designed for professional development for the counseling community. And then, of course, really how we started is this notion of these personalized college and career roadmaps. And then we offer nudges, which are kind of text alerts for upcoming key dates that might be happening. So we want to make sure, again, that parents and students have the information they need when they need it. So let me kind of move into, let me show you the product here. Brennan, feel free to kind of weigh in.
Okay.
So this is, before I actually do that, let me show you when parent signs up for the program, the first thing they're going to see is this form. So this is kind of our input form that allows us to personalize the experience.
It's not showing the input form.
Okay, let me go back here. Sorry about that. Let me try that again. How's that?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So as you can see, what we're asking initially from the parent is, tell us what year the student graduates, because not only is this an interest-based form, but also it's timeline-based. So of course, a ninth grader who has the same interests as a junior is going to get a very different roadmap because of where they are in the process. But as you can see here, there's a number of different options that that parents can choose from regarding pathways, regarding academic interests, and also some information around family context. The important point I wanted to make here is that there are really rich, deep resources that sit behind all of these different options. And you don't have to choose one. You can choose multiple options here. Because again, what we're trying to do is provide resources for all the students that you might be serving, those that of course are going to 4-year, but also those that are looking at alternatives to a 4-year education. So now let me show you the demo site. So for the purposes of the demo, you'll see here there's a profile. So for the purpose of this, this is what I've typed in. The student is graduating this year. I'm sorry, next year. It's a junior. The 4-year degree, STEM student, but also performing arts, performing and visual arts, excuse me. And then the part of the family context, it's a first-gen family, but the student also requires some learning and academic supports. So the profile can be changed at any time. And as you can see here, the entire site can be translated into multiple languages as well. I'll show you briefly what that looks like. So once I've saved all that, this homepage basically is going to share kind of a very personalized approach based on where that student is. It's 11th grader. This is the roadmap, as you can see here. And these are essentially the checklist items. So as I go through the process and check off and review some of these, the content that sits behind them. So you can see here, we have these short videos that we've produced that are sitting behind this. This is one with Jim Bach from Swarthmore talking about school culture without actually necessarily visiting the campus. But as I click these off, you'll notice that the checklist item progress is advancing. This is from 9th grade to 11th grade, halfway through 11th grade. This is kind of a quarterly checklist, but you'll notice that as I roll into January, it becomes a monthly checklist. Because as you know, if I'm looking at going to a 4-year university, it becomes, monthly activity becomes very, very important. So every month you're going to see new checklist items here with content focused on the kinds of academic and non-academic interests that you indicated in the profile page. The other point here I'll make is these are all kind of upcoming key dates that the student and the parent need to be aware of. Again, this is designed to kind of augment and complement the work that you're already doing with your students, but especially, again, how do I help that parent engage more effectively as well? And then here's Ava. Well, Ava, you'll notice that actually it used to be AVA, it's now EVA. But the first thing we do is, because we know this is a parent, we're going to be prompting questions that a parent might have. But if you're a student coming in, Ava's going to be communicating to you as a student, and as a counselor, the same. It'll be communicating to you as a counselor. Also, in the next couple of months, Ava will be able to connect with your roadmap so that Ava will know that your student's a performing arts student or a STEM student. So it'll be able to prompt questions about, as a potential performing arts student, have you looked at these videos and so forth. So it'll be able to engage in a much more personalized manner than a generic AI tool. So again, these are Yes,
Bob, can
Brennan,
I just
please,
kind of put a pin in that? Because
please.
as you talk about Ava connecting with different, with the roadmap and things. I think one of the things that really stands out to me is that was important to me as I was kind of adopting this at Khan Lab School was student privacy and kind of guardrails. And so within the tool, it does connect to some of those things, but all student privacy, all student PII information, all that kind of stuff is super protected, and there's a lot of guardrails that are built up around the AI tool.
Yeah, thank you, Brennan. Yeah, there's no personalized identifiable information here that we're capturing as part of this process. We can provide and will provide to schools that are licensing CGN aggregate information about these are the topics. These are like the top 10 topics that your parents are asking about. These are the top 10 topics that your students are asking about. These are common questions that we are hearing. So we'll be able to share with you kind of generic data about your population without necessarily giving you information about any individual student that's asking questions. So again, we're very, very sensitive to student privacy. Here's just an example of the kind of response that you would get if you were to kind of ask about how do I help my student manage stress during this process. So here are some responses from folks in the database. Again, we're not going out on the internet pulling information from unknown sources. These are all coming from sources within our expert database. And then in 99% of the cases, you're also going to get a video that's going to be tied to this particular program as well. Let me close that. Also just kind of show you that, of course, it's personalized, but you can also access all of our resources kind of in the resource center, all 110 topics that are being covered here. You can see here, there's again, lots of information. It's a very rich resource database of content and resources here, and you can find them in a variety of different ways. All of this, by the way, can be shared. So as a counselor, you can share this with any of your students individually or in aggregate, or your parents as well. And then, as I mentioned earlier, if you had families in your community where English is a second language, and you wanted to provide this in their native language, in this case, Spanish, all of the content can be translated into that language. And then the vast majority of our videos are also closed captioned in these languages as well. I should also mention that you'll see CGN School up here. This is kind of a generic site, but for schools that do license CGN, and right now we have about 100 school districts that are using the platform. You get your own version of this, so your school logo would appear here, and your students and parents are coming in only through your instance, if you will, of CGN. What that allows us to do is to go back here and just show you the counselor dashboard. So, wrong one. Let's try that again.
Yeah, that has counselor dashboard.
Oh, it does. Okay. So the one thing you'll see here that's a little bit different from the family dashboard is that you're getting some counselor content here. This is our upcoming live event with NACAC called Counselor Bites. But again, you'll be able to access Ava, you'll be able to access all of our resources. And then here you're able to upload your school logo, add your own checklist items, add your own key dates. We've created a number of different tools for a counselor to customize the site for your purposes so that you can, basically add your own information here as well. So I'll stop there. And Brennan, maybe you can talk a little bit in some of the time we have left about how, as a counselor, kind of you're using the system to support students and families.
Yeah, I'm happy to, and then we just want to open it up to questions. So if folks have questions, you can use the Q&A there to put them in. But I use it in some ways, and I've talked to a lot of counselors who are using it in different ways. I think Bob was just showing the kind of the ability to share things, and one of the benefits is being able to, now that all my families at Khan Lab School are up on the platform, being able to share content. So like at either in a newsletter or in an email or something like that. As I'm starting to work with my juniors and talking to their families about college visits, I can just grab a 2-minute video from an admission officer, an expert, and send it to them. And I think probably like a lot of you, they hear a lot of my voice. And so it's nice to hear from somebody outside the school that's kind of maybe saying the same things as I am, but holds a little more credibility in their eyes. And so things like that. Also, and there's videos, but I think what I don't know that we showed, there's also PDFs. So there's PDFs on essays or on financial aid and on different aspects. And so on athletic recruiting. And so being able to share those with families has been really useful. I have found this really helpful also with kind of 9th and 10th grade families. Often kind of our bandwidth just doesn't allow us to be working with those families regularly. And it's nice for them to be able to kind of dip their toes in and explore and to have the roadmap. I mean, a lot of times, families, parents who are in 9th grade are saying, like, I just want a plan. Give me a timeline. Give me what should I expect? And for them to have that and be able to kind of scroll through what's coming ahead has been really useful for my families. And then I would just say what we didn't show is the recommendation feature. And that's on the counselor dashboard. Ava has a build a recommendation feature, and we got a quote email from a counselor, and I've had this in conversations with a couple people where this one counselor said, this has revolutionized my fall. Like, this is such an asset in terms of being able to build, whether they want to use bullet point format or just a narrative format. You can customize the letter's recommendation and kind of put information in there, and it will build the recommendation for you. And so that's been a super helpful thing. And I've been helping develop that on the back end based on some of my experience in writing recommendations. And then I would just say there's a lot on the horizon. I mean, so things kind of initiatives around college list building and the ability to build a newsletter through Ava so that we as counselors can kind of streamline some of the work that we're doing and not replacing us, just allowing us more time to work with students directly one-on-one and to work with families. And so taking some of the administrative tasks and those things and kind of streamlining them. But again, like I said, with guardrails, because some of that stuff you can do with ChatGPT and everything. But those large language models, the large LLMs, ChatGPT and Bing and all those things are pulling from like everything out there, like College Confidential and Reddit and Discord and all those things. And so it's not always accurate. And this again is built on kind of trusted colleagues of ours that have shared this information and have shared their wisdom. So, and I'm also going to put up to that point, I'm going to put a link to a form here in the chat. Because we'd love for counselors to participate. We'd love to have you kind of share your wisdom with folks. And so I'm going to put if you're interested in helping and kind of joining that effort, I'll put a form here and feel free to just put your name in and I can reach out to you. So that's just a quick overview. Would love to hear if folks have questions and thoughts, responses.
So Brennan, there is a question from Monique in the Q&A that I did want to respond to. So currently we are offering the counselor dashboard for free. In fact, I'm going to also put a link in. here. Let's see if I can, there you go. So if you'd like to sign up for a free license as a counselor for CGN Roadmap and AVA, you can do that here. If you are interested in expanding the use of the program to students and parents, that's where the school does pay a fee. Right now, it's $5 per student per year. It can be for all the high school students from 9 through 12. But you could also decide to start with, 1 or 2 classes. The minimum is $2,500. So any schools less than 500 students would pay the $2,500 minimum. But that's the cost to expand the use of CGN beyond just the counselor, but to the students and parents. So I want to make sure that you're clear on the pricing model today, anyway, for the student and parent population. But as I said, if you go in and go to that link that I shared with you, you'll be able to sign up for the platform as a counselor for free and use it. We want to encourage counselors to use it. We want to get your feedback on what's working, what's not working, because obviously we want to get your insight so that we can improve the tool. We're learning about AI just like you're learning about AI. Everyone is kind of learning at the same time. So we want to make sure we get it right, because we think this could be extremely powerful to support schools. But again, we want to make sure that we're being thoughtful about the rollout of this platform.
Can you put that link? Actually, here I'll do it. There was a question about.
Oh, wait a minute. You know what? I apologize. I just
sent
sent it. You got it? I just
Yeah.
sent it to the panelists. I didn't send it to everyone. Let me.
I'll send it to everyone. There it is.
Okay, appreciate that.
It
Sorry
defaults-
about that, folks.
Defaults to that, yeah.
Yeah, no, I sent, there you go. Yeah, thanks, Brendan. Apologize. I just sent that to Brendan. I don't think Brendan needed the
All set.
link, and Sean, I think, got that as well. But yeah, thank you. So Brendan just sent that to everyone. Thanks for picking up on that.
Other questions, thoughts? I know it's a busy time of the year, so
Yeah,
your folks
really
have.
appreciate you taking some precious time out of your day to learn a little bit more about the CGN. And Sean, thank you for the opportunity. We're, again, very excited about working with SACAC and continuing our partnership, over the coming years.
Of course, yeah. And I just wanted to say, I've been using AI because one of the things that, and I found that's important to me is that when I see the names and the sources of, who's generating the feedback, and I see people that I know and respect, and using it even for small questions about, school recommendations with, particular niche interests and the rest. And my school is one that, we have some parameters around what we can put into AI models, but even just even for questions that help me list build or look for particular, factual information about schools that I may not have visited or be familiar with, that's been really helpful, for me to, get information that I can rely on when I need it.
John, there was a question about the recording. I know we're recording this session. This,
Yes.
I assume, will go out to everyone who registered for the event?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes, we will send that out.
Okay. And the other question was IECs. And Brendan, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe IECs can also sign up for the free version of CGN. So yes. So we want to support IECs as well, and feel free to register for the free CGN platform.
Yeah, I can't remember if you have to have a school email address or not. But we can check on that.
Okay. Great.
Wonderful. Well, thanks again,
Thank
Sean.
you. Thank you,
all
Sean.
for
Appreciate
tuning in.
it. Thanks, everyone.
Enjoy your holidays.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.